Have you ever wondered what aliens would think of our food?
Like, would they love pizza as much as we do? Or would they think ice cream is some kind of weird cold goo?
Well, today we're going to find out, sort of. I've got a story for you about a family of adorable alien cubs who crash-landed in the backyard and had their very first encounter with human snacks. So grab your popcorn or maybe a slice of pizza and let's dive into this delicious adventure. Our story begins on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. In the bustling kitchen of the Miller family, chaos reigned supreme. 10-year-old Leo was trying to build a tower of cookies, while his older sister, Maya, was attempting a new smoothie recipe that looked suspiciously like swamp water. Unbeknownst to them, in their very own backyard, a tiny spaceship, no bigger than a pumpkin, had just made a very clumsy landing right in Mrs. Miller's prize-winning petunias. From the slightly dented hatch of the spaceship, 3 furry, 4-armed creatures tumbled out. They were the Zorpian cubs. Zorp, the brave and slightly reckless leader. Zib, the cautious and analytical one. And Zuzu, the smallest, who was mostly just along for the ride and perpetually hungry. Their fur was the color of a summer sunset, a mix of orange, pink, and purple, and their big, curious eyes blinked in the bright earth sunlight. They had been on a practice flight with their autopilot when a rogue asteroid shower sent them spiraling off course. Now they were stranded, and more importantly, they were hungry. Their ship's nutrient-paste dispenser had broken in the crash. The air in this strange new world was filled with incredible smells. Zorp's nose twitched. He'd never smelled anything so complex. There were sweet smells, savory smells, and something that smelled a bit like burnt toast, probably from a neighbor's kitchen. Following the most enticing aroma, the cubs crept towards the back door of the Miller house, which was conveniently left ajar. Peeking inside, they saw a wonderland of food. The kitchen counter was a buffet of earthly delights. Zib, ever the cautious one, pulled out a small scanner. He scanned a bright yellow banana. The scanner whirred and beeped. High in potassium, Zib chirped in their squeaky Zorpian language. Edible, but mushy texture may be alarming. Zorp, however, wasn't one for waiting. He scampered onto a chair and then onto the counter. His eyes landed on Leo's cookie tower. It was magnificent. He carefully grabbed a chocolate chip cookie with 2 of his 4 hands. He sniffed it. It smelled sweet, like the crystallized energy rocks from their home planet, but richer. He took a tiny nibble. His eyes widened in astonishment. A flavor explosion erupted in his mouth. Sweet, buttery, with delightful little bursts of something he could only describe as pure joy. He gobbled down the rest of the cookie in seconds and immediately reached for another, toppling Leo's tower in the process. Cookies scattered across the counter. Zuzu, seeing her brother's delight, waddled over to a bowl of bright red strawberries. They were so shiny, she picked one up. It was squishier than the rocks she was used to chewing on. Tentatively, she bit into it. A wave of sweet, tangy juice filled her mouth. She squealed with happiness, her little body wiggling as she grabbed another, her face quickly becoming a sticky, red mess. Meanwhile, Zib had moved on to something more complex, a slice of leftover pepperoni pizza. His scanner flashed red. High-fat content, greasy residue. Potential for digestive distress, he announced to no one in particular. But the smell was intoxicating. It was savory and cheesy and unlike anything he had ever encountered. He used one tiny claw to pick off a piece of pepperoni. He tasted it. It was spicy, salty, and utterly fascinating. Then he tried a bit of the cheese. It was stringy and gooey and wonderful. He decided that potential digestive distress was a risk worth taking. Back inside, Maya finally perfected her smoothie. It was a vibrant green concoction of spinach, mango, and yogurt. She poured herself a glass and took a sip. Perfect, she declared. She left the blender on the counter and went to find her brother. This was the moment the Zorpian cubs discovered smoothies. Zorp, full of cookies, peered into the blender. This green liquid looked just like the swampy ponds on planet Zorp, which were definitely not for drinking. But Zuzu, ever adventurous when it came to food, dipped a tiny finger in. Her face lit up. It was sweet and creamy and cold. Soon,
All three cubs were taking turns dipping their fingers and paws into the blender, slurping up the green goodness. They were having the time of their lives. That's when Leo and Maya walked back into the kitchen. They stopped dead in their tracks. Their kitchen was a disaster zone. Cookie crumbs were everywhere. Strawberry juice stained the counter, and three tiny, colorful aliens were having a party in their mom's blender. For a moment, everyone just stared. Leo's jaw dropped. Maya's eyes were wide as saucers. Zorp, Zib, and Zuzu froze, their faces covered in a mixture of chocolate, strawberry, and green smoothie. Zorp let out a guilty little burp that sounded like a tiny bell. The silence was broken by Leo, who whispered, "Whoa, they're eating our snacks." Instead of screaming, Maya started to laugh. It was just too absurd. Here were three adorable, furry aliens who had apparently developed a taste for human junk food. Leo, recovering from his shock, grinned. "Do you think they'd like pretzels?" he asked. Zib, who had been analyzing the children, determined they were not a threat. He gave a small, reassuring chirp. Over the next hour, an unlikely friendship formed over a shared love of snacks. Maya and Leo introduced the cubs to the wonders of potato chips. The salty crunch was a huge hit with Zorp. They discovered that Zuzu had an insatiable appetite for blueberries, and Zib, the little scientist, became fascinated by the fizzy bubbles in a can of soda, poking them with his finger until the fizz was all gone. They learned to communicate through gestures and shared squeals of delight. The cubs had never tasted anything like Earth food, and the kids had never met anyone or anything quite like the Zorpians. As the sun began to set, a familiar whirring sound filled the air. A much larger, sleeker spaceship descended into the backyard. The hatch opened, and two larger Zorpians, their parents, rushed out, looking worried. They had tracked their cubs' emergency beacon. They cooed and chirped, hugging their little ones, relieved to find them safe and sound, albeit very sticky. Before they left, Zib used a universal translator to squeak a final message to Leo and Maya. "Thank you for the flavor adventure. Earth food is illogical but highly enjoyable." Zorp held up a half-eaten potato chip as if to say cheers, and Zuzu waved a sticky paw goodbye. The Miller kids waved back as the spaceship ascended, disappearing into the twilight sky. The kitchen was still a mess, but Leo and Maya didn't mind. They had a secret, a wonderful, delicious secret. They knew that somewhere out in the vast universe, a family of furry, four-armed aliens was probably trying to figure out how to replicate chocolate chip cookies and green smoothies. And maybe, just maybe, they'd be back for more. After all, who can resist a good snack? And that's the story of the Zorpian cubs' first taste of Earth. It just goes to show you, food really is a universal language, connecting us across backyards and even across galaxies. What food do you think an alien would love the most? Let me know in the comments below. When the Galactic Council approved the Xyron Cub's visit to Earth, 3 different human agencies tried to cancel it. One for safety, one for ethics, and one because they will definitely eat everything. They were correct. Prachi pressed its face against the shuttle window, watching the blue planet spin beneath them. The cub's fur shimmered with excitement, ears twitching wildly. "Planet smells delicious," the translator chirped. Dr. Layla Rahman sat beside the cubs in their padded seats, smiling proudly. She had personally volunteered to be their cultural guide. "Welcome to Earth," she said. "Home of snacks." The shuttle landed at the International Xenobiology Center, where reporters, diplomats, and one suspiciously large group of chefs waited. The cubs stepped onto Earth soil. Immediately, one rolled in grass. Another tried to eat a flower. A third chased a butterfly and declared it a flying snack. Thrix, the Xyron ambassador, sighed. "We should have started with a museum." "No," Layla said. "We're starting with street food." The cub's first Earth stop was a controlled human street market, close to the public for safety. Vendors from around the world had volunteered. "Observe," Layla said. "This is humanity's true cultural heart." The cubs sniffed the air. Then chaos began. Prachi approached a popcorn stand. The vendor offered a kernel. The cub chewed, then froze, then screamed with joy. Within seconds, all cubs were diving into the popcorn machine, launching kernels into the air like fireworks. "They think it's exploding food," Thrix said. "Because it is," Layla replied. Next was cotton candy. A cub tried to grab it. Its paws stuck. It panicked. Then it licked its paws. Then it ate the entire stick in 3 seconds. "It dissolves in mouth," the translator announced. One cub attempted to build a nest out of cotton candy and fell asleep inside it. Then came fries. The cubs formed a line. They dipped fries in ketchup. They dipped fries in mayonnaise. They dipped fries in peanut butter. They dipped fries in ice cream. One cub declared fries to be universal food sticks. P.R. Ritchie hoarded fries in a tiny backpack. Thrix whispered, "We cannot allow this to become a cultural symbol." "Too late," Layla said. The council insisted on testing fast food in a controlled lab. Big mistake. The cubs encountered burgers, nuggets, pizza, and milkshakes. A cub tasted pizza. Its pupils expanded. It held a slice like a holy artifact. "Cheese bread circle is perfection," the translator said. The cubs voted pizza their prime ritual meal. They called nuggets tiny meat comets. One cub attempted to build a shrine out of dipping sauces. Prachi dipped a nugget in every sauce simultaneously and declared it maximum flavor. Layla took them to a simulated human festival environment. Music, lights, food stalls, games. The cubs experienced ice cream trucks, hot dog stands, donut booths, soda fountains. They also discovered balloons. One cub believed balloons were edible and had to be rescued. The council scientists warned against excess sugar. The cubs ignored science. They consumed funnel cake, candy apples, chocolate bars, soda. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. Then they achieved supersonic zoomies. Cubs bounced off walls, climbed tents, and attempted synchronized dancing. One started a conga line. "Sugar is a controlled substance on Xyron," Frick said. "On Earth, it's a lifestyle," Layla replied. To understand human culture, the cubs visited a suburban home. A human child, 8-year-old Aisha, met Prachi. She offered it a peanut butter sandwich. Prachi bowed in reverence. They sat on the floor, sharing snacks and cartoons. "This is pack behavior," Thrix noted. "Yes," Layla said softly. "Food equals friendship." The cubs played with toys, tried cookies, and discovered juice boxes. One cub learned how to use a straw and declared it Liquid Tentacle Tool. The Galactic Council broadcast the visit across thousands of species. Aliens watched in horror and fascination as cubs worshipped pizza, cubs fought over donuts, cubs slept inside cotton candy, cubs formed emotional bonds with human children. The council speaker addressed the galaxy. Humans have achieved what no empire could. They have domesticated an alien species using carbohydrates. At the end of the visit, Thrix stood beside Layla at the farewell ceremony. "Our cubs have experienced joy beyond survival," he said. "They learned that food can be fun, emotional, and shared. Your species has reshaped Xyron culture. What will you do?" Layla asked. "We will open our first interstellar culinary exchange program." The cubs squeaked happily. Prachi climbed onto Lola's head and placed a fry on her hair. "Foodbringer is forever pack," the translator said. Layla laughed. "Guess I'm visiting your planet next." When the cubs left Earth, they carried more than souvenirs. They carried cookbooks. They carried recipes. They carried memories of shared meals. And across the galaxy, new species began experimenting with human-style food culture, family dinners, celebrations, comfort meals. Humanity didn't just share technology, they shared happiness. Because sometimes the strongest bridge between worlds isn't science, diplomacy, or power. Sometimes it's a shared slice of pizza. It was supposed to be a diplomatic gesture. It became a galactic phenomenon. Arrival on Xyron Prime Xyron Prime was a shimmering desert world, its purple sands glowing under twin suns. Massive crystal cities rose like alien cathedrals, and the air smelled faintly of minerals and ionized dust. Dr. Layla Rahman stepped off the shuttle with a suitcase full of cooking utensils, spices, and something the Galactic Council had classified as potential cultural disruptors. Behind her bounded Prachi and the other cubs, squeaking excitedly. Home planet smells? Boring, the translator chirped. Thrix sighed. You have already corrupted them. Wait until dinner, Lila said. The diplomatic plan the Xyron Council had approved a small human-run facility, the Terran Cultural Food Exchange Center. In simple terms, a restaurant. We will allow limited food demonstrations, Thrix said. Only for educational purposes. No mass distribution, Layla nodded. She had already printed a menu. Opening night. Chaos begins. The restaurant opened with only Xyron diplomats, scientists, and a few curious citizens. They expected sterile nutrient samples. Instead, they found a sizzling grill, the smell of garlic, the sound of frying oil, and Perchi wearing a tiny chef hat. Layla stood behind the counter. Welcome to Earth Eats, the first dish served. Grilled cheese sandwich. A Xyron elder tasted it, paused, then requested 6 more. The bread breakthrough bread was unknown on Xyron Prime. Their species used nutrient gels and protein crystals. Layla introduced bread in many forms. Toast, naan, flatbread, buns. The Xyron were stunned. Food that can be held, one scientist whispered. Prachi demonstrated by stuffing a sandwich into a pouch. Portable joy food, the translator announced. The council immediately classified bread as strategic cultural material. The pasta paradox next came pasta. Long noodles, short noodles, spirals, tubes. The Xyron stared at spaghetti in confusion. Is it alive? No, Layla said. But it can feel like it is. They tasted it with tomato sauce. A diplomat declared, this is comfort in physical form. A researcher spent 30 minutes playing with noodles like toys before eating them. The burger incident, the burger changed everything. Layla assembled it slowly. Bread, meat, cheese, vegetables, sauce. She handed it to Thrix. He stared at it like a puzzle. How do I consume this? With courage, Layla said. He bit into it. His antennae froze. Layers of flavor, contradiction, harmony, chaos. He ate the entire burger in silence. Then he ordered another. The dessert uprising Xyron culture had no desserts. That ended immediately. Brownies, one scientist called brownies, edible happiness bricks. Ice cream already sacred from Earth. Ice cream became a ceremonial food. Cake, the first time a Xyron elder tasted cake, they requested a holiday dedicated to it. Cultural shockwave news spread across the planet. Citizens lined up outside the restaurant. The council tried to regulate entry. The Cubs live-streamed everything. Within days, Xyron Prime experienced first food lines, first takeout containers, first food critics, first people arguing about toppings. An alien influencer declared pizza superior to nutrient crystals. The economy trembled. The homeworld visit Layla was invited to a Xyron family home. They had recreated a human-style dining table. Everyone sat together. They served bread, soup, grilled vegetables, a homemade burger attempt pear. She sat beside Layla and handed her a small sandwich. Packed meal ritual, the translator said. Thrix watched quietly. We have never eaten like this before. Meals were always individual, efficient, silent. Food isn't just fuel, Layla said. It's connection. The great cultural debate, the Xyron Council held an emergency session. Our society is changing, one elder said. Citizens are gathering to eat together. They are celebrating birthdays. They are sharing recipes, another added. They are arguing about pineapple on pizza. The council leader sighed. This is irreversible. Thrix looked at Layla. Your species infects others with joy. Is that bad? No, he said slowly, but it is powerful. The Interstellar restaurant boom. Other species requested human restaurants. Within a year, sushi bars opened on aquatic worlds. Barbecue festivals occurred on lava planets. Vegan cafes opened in silicon-based civilizations. Popcorn theaters appeared on asteroid stations. Human chefs became diplomats. Food became a universal language. Prachi's dream one night. Prachi sat with Layla under Xyron's twin suns. Prachi wants restaurant. the translator said. You already have one. No. PR Richie wants PR Richie's restaurant. Cubs cook. Humans visit. Food for all packs. Layla smiled. That's the best idea I've heard. HFY ending. Humanity's legacy. The first interstellar restaurant chain was founded by humans and Xyron Cubs. Its slogan, food brings packs together. Across the galaxy, beings who once ate alone began sharing meals. Wars paused for banquets. Diplomacy happened over dinner. Friendships formed over dessert. Humanity never conquered the stars with weapons. They conquered them with kitchens. And on a distant desert world, a small alien cub flipped its first pancake, wearing a tiny chef hat while a human doctor cheered. For the first time, the galaxy truly felt like one big table. The Galactic Council never expected food to become a galactic-level event. But 10 years after the first banana, the galaxy gathered for something unprecedented, the first Interstellar Food Festival. The invitation was simple. All species welcome. Bring food. Bring curiosity. Bring appetite. Dr. Layla Rahman and Prachi, co-founders of Universal Pack Kitchens. The location: a massive orbital ring station above Xyron Prime, converted into a floating festival city. Delegations arrived from hundreds of worlds. Some came out of curiosity. Some came out of fear. Most came hungry. Prachi, now fully grown, though still adorable, floated onto the stage wearing a chef's jacket and ceremonial apron. Welcome packs, the translator announced. Today, Galaxy eats together. Fireworks exploded. Confetti floated. Someone accidentally released a swarm of glowing dessert insects. They were later declared delicious. Layla stood beside Prachi, smiling like a proud parent. You started this with a banana, she whispered. Yes, Prachi said. Banana changed universe. The festival was divided into zones. In the human zone, humans brought everything: pizza ovens the size of starships, burger towers, curry planets, sushi conveyor belts, and dessert galaxies. Aliens lined up for fried chicken, pancakes, noodles, and ice cream. One crystalline species dissolved slightly in soda and declared it life-changing. In the aquatic world's pavilion, jellyfish diplomats served glowing algae cakes. Squid-like chefs offered fermented sea bubbles. Humans tried everything. This tastes like the ocean is hugging me, one human chef said. In the volcanic species BBQ arena, lava-dwelling aliens grilled meat on actual magma. Humans offered barbecue sauce. The aliens paused. Then they declared sauce liquid flame enhancement technology. In the plant-based civilization's garden, sentient plants served fruit that sang when sliced. Humans brought vegan burgers. The plants politely tasted them and said, "We are honored and slightly disturbed." Some species competed. Popcorn vendors battled alien plasma puffed grains. Judges concluded popcorn was chaotically superior. Human chocolate versus Xyron crystal candy resulted in a tie. But everyone ate chocolate first. An alien diplomat proposed pineapple on pizza. Another species declared it war. A human chef mediated with a half pineapple, half anti-pineapple treaty pizza. Peace was restored. Prachi's booth was the festival's star attraction. Menu items included peanut butter star sandwich, banana galaxy roll, ice cream ritual bowls, fried constellation pack, and chocolate nebula bites. The Cubs Now chefs served customers. Humans, aliens, robots, and gas clouds lined up. A gas-based entity absorbed a milkshake and declared it emotionally stabilizing. At the center of the station, a massive table ring encircled the habitat. Thousands of species sat together. No weapons. No politics. Just food. Layla looked around in awe. A reptilian warlord shared soup with a silicon-based mathematician. A human child taught a six-eyed alien how to use chopsticks. Prachi sat between Thrix and Layla, handing out fries. "This is Pack," Prachi said softly. Thrix nodded. "Yes, the galaxy is Pack." The Galactic Council speaker addressed the crowd. "Before humanity, we believed survival required separation. We believed efficiency was superior to joy. We believed meals were private." He held up a slice of pizza. "Humans taught us something revolutionary. Sharing food creates peace faster than treaties." Applause echoed through vacuum-adapted sound transmitters. A reporter asked Layla, "Did you plan this?" Did humanity intend to change the galaxy with food? She laughed. No, we just like snacks, the reporter blinked. That's it? Yes, humans turn survival into celebration. We cook because we care. We share because we're social. The rest was inevitable. Near the end of the festival, Prochi approached the stage with a banana, the same fruit that started everything. He peeled it slowly, ceremonially. This banana, the translator said, was first Earth gift. Before banana, Xyron cubs ate nutrient paste. After banana, Galaxy learned joy. He offered the banana to Lila, food bringer. First pack. Layla took it with tears in her eyes. The Interstellar Food Festival became an annual event. Wars paused for cooking competitions. Scientists exchanged recipes instead of threats. Children of different species grew up trading snacks. Humanity never ruled the galaxy. They never built an empire. Instead, they built a kitchen. And in that kitchen, the galaxy discovered something powerful. Joy is contagious. Food is universal. And sharing a meal can change the universe. Years later, an alien child asked their parent, "Why does everyone eat together?" The parent answered, "Because once a human gave a cub a banana, and the galaxy decided it never wanted to eat alone again." The galaxy never forgot the banana. For centuries, history books would call it the first shared snack event, the moment two very different species realized they didn't have to be alone in the vast emptiness of space. But the real miracle wasn't just the banana. It was the generations of children who came after. The Interstellar Food Festival had become a sacred tradition. Entire civilizations would pause their wars, their research, and their trade just to gather once a year and eat together. And in a massive orbital station floating high above the planet Xyron Prime, a classroom hummed with life. Human laughter mixed with Xyron chirps, synthetic beeps, liquid gurgles, and crystalline chimes. This was Pack School 1, the first multi-species school in galactic history. A young human girl named Aisha Rahman Jr., the great-granddaughter of the legendary Dr. Layla Rahman, sat beside a young Xyron cub named Prachi II. He was named, of course, after the first cub who started it all. They were sharing a lunchbox. Aisha opened hers, revealing a peanut butter sandwich, sliced bananas, mini pizza rolls, and a little pile of chocolate chips. Prachi II opened his, showing off shimmering crystal candy shards, wobbly protein gel cubes, alien fruit bubbles, and a single, carefully wrapped human cookie. They began to trade. "Cookie for crystal candy?" Aisha asked. "Yes," PR Richie II replied through his translator collar. "Crystal candy tastes like happy electricity," Aisha nodded with a serious expression. "Cookies taste like grandma hugs." They both chewed thoughtfully, contemplating the profound truth of their exchange. Their teacher, a floating silicon-based entity named Professor Glint, projected a hologram into the center of the room. It showed an old human woman and a tiny purple cub. "Class," Glint announced, its voice a pleasant hum. "Today we study the origin of pack culture." The image zoomed in on Dr. Layla Rahman offering a banana to the first Prachi. "This moment," Glint continued, "is considered the beginning of the galactic shared table era." Aisha raised her hand. "But why did it matter so much?" "It was just food." The classroom fell silent. Professor Glint paused, letting the question hang in the air. Because before that moment, every species ate alone. Food was about survival. After that moment, food became about connection. Prachitu whispered to Aisha, "Connection tastes better." During recess, the schoolyard was a beautiful, chaotic mix of life. A gas-based child playfully formed shapes that looked like cotton candy. A robotic child zoomed around, handing out juice boxes with its tiny manipulators. Aisha and Prachitu were building a restaurant out of floating blocks. "Today's special," Aisha announced to their friends, "is the Galactic Combo Meal." Prachitu added, "It includes fries, space fruit, and an emotional support dessert." A line of alien kids immediately formed, holding imaginary currency. The simple concept of a restaurant was now universal. One day, two very special guests arrived at Pack School. The first was a very old woman in a hover chair with silver hair and tired, kind eyes. It was Dr. Layla Rahman herself. Beside her floated an elderly Xyron with faded violet fur, wearing ceremonial robes. Prachi, the original. The classroom erupted in a storm of excited chirps, beeps, and cheers. The food bringer! The first cub! The banana pear! Layla waved warmly. Hi, kids! Prachi lifted a small banana-shaped medal pinned to his robe. Banana is history fruit, he declared. Ahia stood up, her voice trembling slightly. Great-grandma, did you know you would change the galaxy? Layla chuckled. No, sweetie. I just wanted the little cubs to stop being hungry. Prachi added. I just wanted the tasty yellow stick. The kids all laughed. But now, PR Ruchitu said, stepping forward, everyone eats together, even enemies. Layla nodded, her smile soft. That's the magic of food. It reminds us that deep down, we all need the same things. Like love? Aisha asked. Yes, Layla whispered. And snacks. That year, the Interstellar Food Festival was the biggest it had ever been. At the Kids of the Pack Calf, run by Aisha and PR Richitu. A simple sign hung over their booth. Eat with someone new, and people did. Old rivals sat together, strangers swapped recipes, and different species cautiously tried each other's comfort foods. The galaxy had truly grown up around a shared table. As the sun set over Xyron Prime's orbital ring, Layla and Prachi sat together, watching the children play. Prachi held a fresh banana. The galaxy is pack, he said, his voice raspy with age. Yes, Layla whispered. You helped make that. I was hungry, Prachi said simply. She laughed. Sometimes hunger leads to miracles. He peeled the banana and handed her half. Food bringer, forever pack. They shared it just like the first time. Nearby, Aisha and PR Chitu were sharing their own meal of fries and crystal candy. When we grow up, Aisha said, I want to open a restaurant on every single planet, and I want to invent snacks that everyone in the universe can eat, Prachitu replied. They bumped fists human knuckles to alien tendrils. Pack promise, they said together. Long after Layla and PR RCHI became legends, their story lived on in every shared meal. Humans weren't remembered as conquerors or gods. They were remembered as the cooks, the species that turned mere survival into a galaxy-wide celebration and turned strangers into family. All because once upon a time, a human simply shared a banana, and the universe decided it was a good idea to share everything else too. Thanks for watching.